Sairam students, welcome back. Meeting after a long time, isn't it? Yes, we have finished with our first term exam, isn't it? Hope all your papers have gone well. It was easy for you to solve the papers. Fine. Now we are in our second term. We will be starting our second term, and in the second term, we will be going ahead with our next history lesson. Okay, so before proceeding with our next history lesson, let's see what we have learned in the previous lesson. Okay, in the previous lesson we learned that Shivaji Maharaj had to fight many enemies at the same time, and he had successfully fought the Adil Shahi, but for the expansion of Swaraj, conflict with the Mughals was inevitable, and the Mughals posed great threat to Swaraj even as it began to expand. So we already learned that so many enemies, the British, the Portuguese, the Siddhi, that he was from through the Adil Shah, and also the Mughal, so many enemies, the Maratha king, that is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, had to fight. But the Mughals posed great threat. That the greatest threat was posed by the Mughals to Swaraj, even as Swaraj was in the process of expansion, even as it began to expand. So all these, what you can say, this threat, the conflict with the Mughals, whatever it was, we are going to learn in our next lesson, that is chapter number 6, conflict with the Mughals. Yes. So what is the first thing what we are going to learn in this lesson? It's about Shaista Khan's invasion. Okay, Shaista Khan was one of the Sardar of the Mughals. Okay, what did he do? Okay, Shaista Khan was the maternal uncle of Aurangzeb. Yes, so maternal uncle means he was the Mamaji of Aurangzeb. Shaista Khan was the Mamaji of Aurangzeb, and so Aurangzeb had given him certain responsibility to be completed, to be done. Okay, so accordingly, in the year 1660, Shaista Khan left from Ahmednagar and entered the Pune province. But as he entered the Pune province, he ravaged the territories of Swaraj by sending his army. Ravage means he started destroying, he started looting. So many temples were destroyed, common people were looted. Yes, and many atrocities were done on the people over there. So all these things, it started frustrating. Frustration was caused among the local people over there. He encamped at the fort of Chakan, and at that time Firongji Narsala, who was the Kiledar of the Chakan fort, offered a strong resistance to Shaista Khan's army. Okay, so a lot of strong resistance was given, or you can say a defensive role was played by Firongji Narsala against the army of Shaista Khan. But finally, the army being greater, bigger than compared to what Firongji Narsala had, the Mughals captured the fort of Chakan. So this, what you can see on your screen right now, is the Chakan fort, which is near Pune. Fine. Now what this Shaista Khan's invasion he brought into, he led it, and what was the result, what it resulted into, we'll see. Shaista Khan, after ravaging all the territories of Swaraj, he made Lal Mahal in Pune as his center. Okay, he set up his camp at Lal Mahal in Pune, where Shivaji Maharaj had lived in his childhood. So he took over this place, of Lal Mahal, and set up his camp. Who? Shaista Khan. Okay. Now Khan sent his forces in regions around Pune, and these forces looted the people. For 2 years this continued. People was frustrated because of this. It had an adverse effect on the minds of the people. Okay, so for 2 years this continued. People were frustrated because of this. It had an adverse effect on the people's morale. And in these circumstances, Maharaj drew up a bold plan. Okay. Now see, when Shaista Khan entered into the Pune province, what did he do? He ravaged the territories of Swaraj. He took over control of Lal Mahal, the place where Shivaji Maharaj's childhood had taken place. He had lived his life as a child over there. And Khan, what did he do? Shaista Khan, he sent his forces in regions around Pune, and these forces started looting the people over there, started harassing the people, stealing from these people, and this continued for 2 years. People was frustrated because of this, and because of these looting taking place, atrocities taking place, it had an adverse effect, a negative effect on the people's morale. Yes, on the people's, like, people started being disheartening. They thought that nothing could be done to these atrocities. Nobody could help them out of these atrocities. So in these circumstances, while people were undergoing these, what does Maharaj do? Maharaj came up with a bold plan. Yes, a bold plan means he came up with a plan which would totally take the Mughals to with a surprise. What did Shivaji Maharaj do? We all know Shivaji Maharaj was a great warrior, was a great king, but he also had a lot of wits with him. Yes, where he could outdo the enemies as well. So what was the bold plan Shivaji Maharaj came up with? Shivaji Maharaj decided to raid the Lal Mahal secretly under his own leadership. On 5 April 1663, Maharaj raided Lal Mahal at night with a selected band of soldiers. In this raid, Shaista Khan lost his fingers and suffered great humiliation. He left Pune and camped at Aurangabad, and Aurangzeb transferred him to the province of Bengal. Okay, now the plan which Shivaji Maharaj came, it was a bold one. Okay, so what was the bold plan? He decided to raid the Lal Mahal secretly. Yes, now this Lal Mahal was heavily guarded by the Mughal army. In spite of that, he was not, demotivated as to what is to be done. So what did Shivaji Maharaj do? He came up with a plan. The actual plan was that they had planned a procession, a marriage procession, Varat, what you call, Bharat. So they had planned accordingly, and they entered the Lal Mahal, in the place near the Lal Mahal, because they would not be what you can say, thought as to be somebody from the army of Shivaji Maharaj. So they were allowed to enter, and they took you can say they took advantage of the situation and entered the Lal Mahal in the night. That was on 5th April 1663 with a selected band of people, selected of his soldiers. And in this process, whereby the Mughals were fighting with the Marathas were trying to take control over the Lal Mahal. In this raid, Shaista Khan lost his fingers while he was trying to escape. Okay, so in his escape, he lost his fingers. Not only that, he suffered a great humiliation. And after suffering this humiliation, he left Pune and camped at Aurangabad. And later on, Aurangzeb, who was dissatisfied by you can say failure of Shaista Khan, he transferred him to the province of Bengal. So this invasion of Shaista Khan, whereby it continued for 2 years, people looting. The army of Shaista Khan was looting the local people for 2 years. It resulted in the humiliation, ended in the humiliation of Shaista Khan, and also he lost his fingers. 3 of his fingers he lost in this raid of Shivaji Maharaj when he raided Lal Mahal. Okay, so this was the conflict whereby Shivaji Maharaj once again defeated the Mughals. Fine. Now what is the next what we are going to learn? Okay, first see, this is the Lal Mahal, which is in Pune. The conflict amongst the Marathas and the Mughals and Lal Mahal. And this picture you can see Shivaji Maharaj cutting those 3 fingers, chopping off those 3 fingers of Shaista Khan. Yes, so this is one of the historic moment, most memorable historic moment in the history of the Marathas, especially that of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, next, the Surat campaign. This was also an interesting episode in the history of Marathas. Yes, why? See, at that time Surat is in Gujarat. Okay, so Surat was considered a place which earned a lot of revenue for the Mughals. So what is the Surat campaign? Yes, who were all those people who were there in the Surat campaign? We learn about it. In 3 years' time, Shaista Khan had ravaged the territories of Swaraj. When he entered the Pune province, he had destroyed the territories of Swaraj. It was necessary to make good this loss. Okay, so in the period of 3 years, when Shaista Khan had encamped himself in Swaraj territory, he had ravaged the territories of Swaraj, and whatever losses the Marathas incurred, it was necessary for them to make good this loss, means to get the reimbursement for this loss which they had suffered. So Shivaji Maharaj devised a plan to teach the Mughals a lesson. Okay, so like how Mughals looted the people of in the territory of Swaraj, Shivaji Maharaj came up with a plan to loot the territory of the Mughals. So that plan, what he decided was, it was the city of Surat, which was a big trade center and port under the Mughals. Yes, Surat is in the coastal area of Gujarat. So it was a big trade center. People, foreigners were coming for trade purposes at Surat, and a lot of revenue, maximum revenue was being generated by the city, by this city for the emperor. Yes, so for the Mughal emperor, a lot of revenue, a lot of money, a lot of income was being generated from the city of Surat. Okay, how would this revenue was generated? Because the British, the Dutch, the French had their factories in this rich city. So since they had factories in this rich city, they had to pay a revenue to the Mughals. Yes, so because of that, this revenue was being transferred to the emperor of the Mughal emperor. Okay, so Shivaji Maharaj marched on Surat. When he marched on Surat, you can say he raided Surat, and Inayat Khan couldn't put up any resistance. Yes, Inayat Khan was one of the Sardar of the Mughals. He could not put up any resistance against this sudden attack, against this sudden raid. Okay, and as a result, Shivaji Maharaj obtained a huge wealth from Surat without bothering the common people. Now, what do you mean by this? Shivaji Maharaj, he did loot people. He did loot the city of Surat, but only the wealthy ones, not the common people. Without bothering the common people means he did not harass or did not loot the local people, the common people, the poor people. So the whatever huge wealth was accumulated or obtained or looted came from the wealthy people, and all this booty which was he had collected, it came with it to back to Maharashtra to Swaraj. For the, you can say, for the losses which Swaraj had incurred was repaid through this medium. Now this successful campaign was a stunning blow to the emperor's prestige. Yes, isn't it like your enemy is coming right into your territory, looting your territory and taking the wealth and going back to his own territory. So that was a blow, you can say. It damaged the prestige, the pride which Aurangzeb had. It damaged the prestige of the Mughal emperor. So this was a successful campaign for the Marathas, for Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, this was the first time. Once again he had looted Surat and also brought lot of wealth from Surat. So whatever, see, the Mughals, when they looted they looted the Maratha territory, they looted even the poor people. Shivaji Maharaj did not do. He, without bothering the common people, without bothering the poor people, he obtained the huge wealth. So this huge wealth was obtained from the richer people, from the merchants who harassed the common people. That was a lesson which Shivaji Maharaj wanted to teach to the Mughals. Fine. Next. So this is here you can see. Okay, so this is Surat. Okay, this is Surat which you can see. This is the state of Gujarat. So you can see it is right in the coastal areas. Yes, this is near the coast. So lot of Europeans used to come through this route over here for trade purposes. Fine. So that is the march against Surat, and over here the amount of wealth which they had looted from Surat. Fine. Now whatever they had looted from Surat, the Marathas, they utilized it for, you can say, covering the losses which they had faced during the invasion of Shasta Khan. So it was not used for personal purposes, it was used for the welfare, for the expansion of Swaraj, for the welfare of the people and for the expansion of Swaraj. Going ahead, next is Jai Singh's invasion. Okay, this is also an important episode in the history of Maratha. Jai Singh's invasion. Now who was this Jai Singh? How did he come in contact with the Maratha king? Let's see what it is. With a view to curbing the increasing activities of Shivaji Maharaj, Aurangzeb sent Mirza Raja Jai Singh, an experienced and powerful Rajput Sardar. Okay, now that raid at Lal Mahal, then the Surat campaign, all and other things also, with these increasing activities of Shivaji Maharaj, Aurangzeb became quite restless. So he wanted to stop. Curb means to stop, to put a pause to the activities of Shivaji Maharaj. So what did he do? He sent Mirza Raja Jai Singh, who was a Rajput Sardar in the court of Aurangzeb. He sent him to Deccan, to stop, to give a pause to the activities of Shivaji Maharaj. Jai Singh, after coming to Pune, started rallying all the forces against Shivaji Maharaj. So he started, having all the forces, whatever power which he had, he started using it against Shivaji Maharaj. The Portuguese of Goa, the Dutch of Vengurla, the British of Surat, and the Siddhis of Janjira, Jai Singh suggested that they should start a naval campaign against Maharaj. So what did Jai Singh do? Jai Singh brought all the enemies of Shivaji Maharaj to his side, to his own side, to the side of the Mughals, to go against Shivaji Maharaj. And they suggested that if they want to go against Shivaji Maharaj, they should start a naval campaign. Yes, a naval campaign against Shivaji Maharaj. So who were these people who Jai Singh suggested? It was the Portuguese of Goa, the Dutch of Vengurla, the British of Surat, and the Siddhis of Janjira. Okay. Now, according to his plan, Jai Singh captured forts which were in the possession of Maharaj. Now, see, Jai Singh received help. He had a huge Mughal army as well. He received help from British, the Dutch, as well as Siddhis. So that strengthened his power, isn't it? So it was very easy for him to capture the forts which were under the possession of Shivaji Maharaj. Mughals ravaged the territories of Swaraj. Maharaj endeavored to resist the Mughals. Endeavored means he worked hard to resist the Mughals. However, when a siege was laid to the Purandar fort by Jai Singh and Diler Khan, Shivaji Maharaj had to come up with a treaty. Okay, and in this process, when the siege was laid down to the fort of Purandar, Morarbaji Deshpande fought with great valor and died a hero's death. So many people were there on the sides of Shivaji Maharaj, or who would be ready to sacrifice themselves for the expansion and for the safety and security of Swaraj. So Morarbaji Deshpande was one such person who fought with great valor, with bravery, and died a hero's death. So this was in the process when the siege was laid to the fort of Purandar, and this siege was laid by Jai Singh and Diler Khan. What happened next after this? Considering the seriousness of the situation, Shivaji Maharaj began talks with Jai Singh and later signed a treaty in 1665. It is known as the Treaty of Purandar. Okay, so it was not wise enough to fight so many enemies at the same time, isn't it? So considering the seriousness of the situation, if Shivaji Maharaj had gone against the Mughals, what would happen? He would incur a lot of loss to Swaraj, loss of his Maratha soldiers, warriors, as well as loss of losing many territories as well. So Shivaji Maharaj began talks with Jai Singh, and after this talk resulted in the signing of a treaty in the year 1665, and this treaty is known as the Treaty of Purandar. Now, what was according to this Treaty of Purandar? According to this treaty, Maharaj gave 23 of his forts and the adjoining territories, yielding an annual revenue of 4 lakh horns. Mughals were assured help against the Adil Shahi, and the treaty was ratified by Aurangzeb. Okay, so the Treaty of Purandar, which was signed between the Mughals and the Marathas, according to this treaty, 23 forts were handed over to the Mughals. Not only that, territories which were adjoining these 23 forts were also handed, which were yielding a revenue of 4 lakh horns, was given to the Mughals. Okay, and along with that, Mughals were assured, an assurance was given that they would receive help from the Marathas to fight against Adil Shahi. And this treaty, the Treaty of Purandar, was ratified by Aurangzeb. Ratified means it was given consent by Aurangzeb. So this Treaty of Purandar, it was a wise decision by Shivaji Maharaj. Shivaji Maharaj, though he gave 23 forts to the Mughals, there was a plan behind it, because he had already planned to get back the forts which he had given to the Mughals, yes, and defeat the Mughals as well. So this Treaty of Purandar, this Shaista Khan's invasion, later on what did it lead to, and how did Shivaji Maharaj made wise decisions, made fool of the Mughals? We will be learning about it in our next part. So for then, go through this and stay safe, stay healthy. Sai Ram, children.